so very excited to welcome back our next guest to this podcast. He's a two-time off the podium guest, a two-time Olympian, a Commonwealth Games silver medalist, and most importantly, the man that you need to meet if you ever want Powerade. We'll get to that, don't worry. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the show, Sergei Evglevski. Sergei, first of all, welcome back to Off the Podium.
Thank you very much for having me back, Ben. I appreciate it. Your energy with the intros is always the best. Like, you just hype up my day. It's that good.
Well, I need to sometimes, right? Because like I see everything that you've gone on to since we last had you on the show, and I feel like, well, how can I hype this man up? This guy's living his best life. But, you know, when you add two-time off the podium guest, now three-time off the podium guest, you've been on this show more times you've been to the Olympics, Sergei. I mean, that's kind of all you need in life, right?
That's true. Like, that'll be on top of the resume. It will go off the podium ×3 and then Olympics ×2.
Exactly. That's what all of our guests strive for in life. It's not about the Olympics. It's about being on this show. I actually just want to check in, first of all. Can you just spell your name for us? I think we need to pass that on to the AOC because I think they had a bit of issues with that last year. So just for future Olympics and future references, can you just spell your name for us, first of all?
Yes. So it's Sergei and then Evglevski.
Perfect.
Yes. So,
all right.
I'm assuming you're referring to the Qantas ticket that was spelled correctly.
Which the funnest thing about that is when you shared that on Instagram to be like, hey guys, you spelt my name wrong. I'll forgive you. They then comment and say, we'll get you a new one. Sorry about that. And they spell your name wrong again. So, I mean, I don't know what was going on that day on social media, but I mean, that must have been a bit of a, whoa, guys, you might need to read this again.
I remember that day. That was the day that, we had a big marketing day where they announced the shooting team. It was such a fun day. And then I noticed it and I'm like, I just laughed it off. It was very funny. Like, of course it's going to happen to me. But then I went up to one of the AOC marketing guys and I said, hey, just let you know for your sake that there's a typo here. They felt so bad. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we'll get a new one. We'll do this. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. But like, as long as do I have your permission to make a funny video? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like, promote it, all good. So and that's, why I made the video. And they ended up sending me another one anyway. So I've got now 2 tickets to Paris. Yeah. It was awesome.
Can you cash it in? Like, can you just go back? Like, are they actually redeemable at Qantas? Like, do you think you can get a freebie out of that?
I don't think so. I think last time I tried that, they were just looking at me funny and they're like, mate, you're holding up the queue. Just get in there already.
I'm always wondering if all the Olympians with these giant board, you're like, no, this is my ticket to Paris. What are you talking about? Yeah. This is going on. All jokes aside, though, I mean, we had you on just before Paris, and obviously a lot has happened in your life since then. I mean, Olympics, you've got a house, you got engaged, you got a new dog, you've got more Powerade than can sink a ship. I mean, how has life been for you since we last spoke to you? It's a big open-ended question, but I mean, lots happened for you.
Lots has happened. It's crazy. Yeah, I got engaged, like you said before. So I proposed to my partner 3 days before flying out. I did that tactically. I thought, you know what, I'm going to propose, and then, oh, sorry, I can't help plan the wedding. I have to go to the Olympics. So like, good luck without me. And then I assumed that when I got back, it would all be planned and good to go. But Sammy was ahead of me and she said, nah, sorry, like I haven't planned anything. Now we get to wedding planning mode. And so then I thought, you know what, damn it, I should have just done it later. But no, it was good. I thought at the time I thought it'd be really a kind of spontaneous, nice thing to do because it just felt right. It felt like I needed to do it.
So it was spontaneous. You hadn't like planned like some elaborate like big get up, here we go. You just was like, hey, will you marry me? Cool.
Yeah, that's basically how it was. Like, and I think I got back from a big stint overseas for about 2.5, 3 months, like training camps, competitions, kind of back to back. And that's when I thought, when I was over there, I thought, nah, I think I need to do this before I leave. So then I got back, and then after work, during my lunch breaks, and just during trainings and everything like that, just went on various websites, different shops, different everything. Got the ring I wanted, got the ring that ticked off her boxes when we were talking prior, make sure that she liked it too, of course. Got her, my family's advice, her sister's advice, her family's advice, and went from there.
Wow. Did you do the traditional, like, speak to a dad, ask permission? Are you sort of on that page?
Of course, yeah. The one time I've ever called him in the 7 years of dating my partner. He's just like, why are you calling me?
Yeah, what do you want? This is unusual.
Yeah. like,
Is she
oh, do you want
dead or do
to?
you want to marry
Yeah,
her?
that's exactly right. I'm like, oh, do you want to catch up for a coffee? And he's like, yeah, okay, no worries. And he knew what I was gonna do, and I went in there with a speech in my head planned, and he's just like, mate, just save it. Like, it's a yes from me. Let's just talk about life, how you going, and everything. So that was really sweet of him, because I know with my I guess brother-in-law now, so her twin sister's husband, he kind of gave him a bit of stick for with it, gave him a rough time as a joke though. But he knew for me it would be like, nah, Serge wouldn't be able to take it. So let's just get ahead of it.
I mean, 7 years must be that you. Is it a point you just get sick of that question? Because I can imagine after a couple of years, people are like, oh, when you popping the question, when you pop, and you get to 7 years, you're basically married by then anyway, right? So you're just like, oh, well, we may as well do
Exactly
it.
right. Yep, exactly right. And it was one of those things that just I always wanted to do it, but I think life, training for Olympics, going to Olympics in that time, Commonwealth Games, other competitions kind of just got in the way. But now I've decided to prioritize sport on the side a little bit and take other aspects of life that's important and put them up the ladder.
And the wedding's in July. So the
Weddings in July.
planning obviously is going full for. I mean, don't spoil the wedding, of course. We all want the paparazzi to be there and put in a new idea and everything for that, Serge. But like, I mean, what's the wedding going to look like? Basically, what can we expect?
Yeah, so it's going to be in July, so winter wedding. Out classic winery wedding. It's going to be probably a bit of a rustic wedding too. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think we're going to slowly start doing all the taste testing, checking out the menu and everything like that soon, and finalize a few things. We've got some things finalized, but God bless Sammy. She's been doing most of the work, where I've just been kind of hanging back and then asking, "Hey, do you need help anything?" Every couple of weeks or so, and she got it all handled.
Perfect. That's why you're marrying her. It's that simple, right?
Exactly. Exactly right.
It goes that way. And as I said, you got a house, you got a dog. I mean, everything's coming up. I mean, it's 2024, the best year of your life, essentially. I saw a great post that you did sort of at the end of the year, but I mean, we're obviously going to touch on what happened at the Olympics, but I mean, everything combined, 2024, great year for you.
Yeah, yeah. All combined, 2024 was an amazing year. Definitely full of ups and downs, but you want to focus on the ups and you want to focus on the positives, and like what a year it was. So can't take anything away from that.
We're going to talk about Paris, of course, and sort of everything that came with that, because when we spoke, you basically had qualified, but you were just waiting to be essentially confirmed. You got that confirmation, your name was spelt wrong, all of that, everything going on that way. But sort of take us through when we spoke to sort of getting to Paris. I mean, how were you feeling, preparation, everything that was leading into what was, of course, your second Olympic Games?
Yeah. I've actually done a lot of reflection on not only that Olympics, but comparing it to the Tokyo Olympics and how the preparation was. And on paper, preparation was pretty similar. Like similar in a sense of high load with training, competitions beforehand, trying to do that. Tokyo, we didn't have any competitions prior, which was tough, obviously. But now leading into Paris, I had a lot of competitions, competed well, did what I needed to do, and training was going good. So I guess leading into Paris, I had nothing that should have stopped me to perform the best that I could and perform at a level that would have been impressive, I guess. But unfortunately, it it was really tough. It was I think leading into Paris compared to leading to Tokyo, Paris felt like a competition that I definitely deserved to be at. My scores were there. I was in there with the top shooters of the world, and I knew that I deserved to be not only like on that podium, but to be shooting in the final, to be shooting a score that I would be walking away proud of. Um, yeah, not necessarily on the podium, but just to produce a score that would be good. Tokyo, I didn't have that feeling as much. Not sure if it was because of lack of competitions beforehand, or not sure. But Paris, I really felt ready to be there, and then I think I kind of just gave into the fear a little bit. Shooting's such a mental sport where as soon as I got on that, that my position, and as soon as I grabbed my gun and did what I needed to do, it kind of just all went out the window. I didn't do my routine, didn't do what I usually do, didn't go and speak to the coach during my match, and then it was just all out the window from there. And it wasn't something I was proud of in that sense. It wasn't a score that I was proud of, but I still had something to finish off. So went into the second half with, let's just finish as best as we can. Finished off well. Ended up making a score and producing a score that was better than Tokyo, but unfortunately a worse placing. And yeah, it's something that I'm still proud of as a whole, but you can always nitpick at performances, and this is a performance that I knew I could have done better at.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you that question. You posted after Paris a great post on Instagram, and you mentioned about the giving into fear line, which you just sort of used there. I mean, how can you explain that to somebody who maybe doesn't understand that from an athlete's perspective? Like, what is it about that fear? What were you scared of? What was the fear that you sort of felt that now you can reflect and say, well, I gave into that basically on that first round?
Yeah, it's such the way I put it, giving into the fear, and it's not a literal thing of, I'm scared to compete, I'm scared to do this. It's more that giving into that feeling of doubt and doubting yourself and giving into that lack of confidence feeling. I warmed up, I did everything I could, but in the back of my mind, I always had, just do it, just do it. Like, just do it, just do it. Instead of thinking, what do we need to do here? We need to focus on our technique. We need to focus on the process. We need to, do the best that you can. You need to try. You need to try. Where when I went up there, it's almost like, when you watch like a buddy comedy movie and you see like the guy that's a professional shooting and he's shooting all the bad guys and he's doing it so good and so professionally, and then you see his mate that doesn't know how to use a gun and he starts closing his eyes and he's just shooting and spraying. I felt like the mate. I felt like that's what I was doing. So, and that's kind of like my definition of giving into the fear. I didn't take control of my body and my emotions and what I needed to do on the day. I just came here and just did, yep, all right, just gonna shoot and that's it. Just perform and that's it. Instead of actually taking control, and I let that kind of fear take over instead of, stepping up to the plate and being ready to do what I need to do.
And do you find that is like an instantaneous thing? So the moment, like you're talking about that preparation and how you're feeling going into it, is that literally the moment you get there ready to shoot your first round, then that's when you feel it? Or is it sort of you wake up that morning, something feels a little bit different, like kind of at what moment does that sort of almost, you're feeling that inside of you that this is what you're feeling that day?
Yeah, I think for me, it was just from the morning, even the night beforehand, I started, getting the feeling of nerves, getting the feeling of sickness, and coming in. Like I had days leading up to the competition where I was just like, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. I want to pull out. I don't, because I was just scared of what the result would be at the end. Whether it was good, whether it was bad, didn't matter. In my head, I didn't want to do it. Um, and it's obviously not like, why are you there if you don't want to do it? It's a terrible thought. And then when I had those thoughts, I kept telling myself, like, no, you're here for a job. Like, you're here for a reason. You're not here to have a holiday. You're not here to, um, just have a free trip to Paris. Like, you're here to do a job, and that's to do the best you can and represent your country in a sport that, you fought for a spot for, and you deserved to be there because you earned that spot. And yeah, I think I just didn't take that as seriously, maybe. And I think that's what kind of took over a little bit. And yeah, but it's one of those things that you kind of have to just take away the learnings from it. So with Tokyo, I maybe, because of lack of competitions, I probably felt like I didn't deserve to be there. So I gave it my all and did what I can. Where here, with competitions prior, 1 point, 2 points off certain finals, shooting, like, I think it was like 1 to 2 points out of world champs, went to Berlin and had a couple of placings there, and competed against some well-known athletes in shooting and did well against them. I feel like leading into Paris, I was really prepared on that side of things. So maybe that's why, with that expectation, knowledge of, okay, I'm actually performing well, I can do something here, that took over, and that just scared the crap out of me, I guess.
So then how were you able to take that feeling into stage two, where, as you said, you shot better than you did in any of your rounds in Tokyo? You shot a 290. I mean, was that just a wake-up call and that you kind of went, shit, what am I doing here? Everything you just said, and then you were able to use that. Because I think last time you spoke to us, you talked about using anger sometimes as kind of like something in shooting. Like, how were you able to turn
I
that around?
think it was. I think it was just a harsh reality of, wow, you just shot a 283 for your first half. What the hell was that? What are you doing? Um, you can't come away from that. Just do what you need to for the second half. So like I was very emotional after my first half. I bawled my eyes out. I went outside, spoke to mum on the phone. I think I had a couple of messages from friends. And I shouldn't be on my phone, but I just needed a distraction, I guess, for a little bit. So I spoke to mum, and mum just said, "Go for a run. Just get your emotions out of your body. Like, exert that energy out of your body just by do some sprints up and down the road. Just go for a run. Do something, to get you out of it." And that's what I did. And I still felt emotional and disappointed and a massive mix of emotions. But then when I got there and I spoke to the coach said, "All right, you're shooting in 1 hour's time. Do what you need to do to prepare." That's just when the emotions stopped. It was like a jar lid just closed it, and I thought, "You're right. You need to focus on the next thing. You can't be full of emotions leading into the second half. No way. You got to bottle that right now and let it out later." So did that. Tears, everything just stopped. Picked up my gun, picked up my equipment, warmed up, did everything I needed to do, and then went in there with the second half, just to do what you can, just take it seriously, focus on what you need to do. Don't doubt yourself, like, to put in perspective, we do the first 5 shots in 8 seconds. In the first half, I think I did them in like 4.8 or something, which is very, very quick because I usually do them in 6.9 to 7.5 seconds. So I just came up and blitzed it. And instead of going back to my coach and speaking to him, I just said, "Nah, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. Zone in, zone in, zone in," without actually knowing what to do. Where the second half, I did it. Okay, yep. Went back to the coach, spoke, did everything, did my usual routine, and formed a score that 290 is respectable. If I did that twice, it would have been a score that I would have been happy with. But yeah, it wasn't that, and it was what it was, and it felt like a more realistic half of what I was capable of. Where the 283 just felt like a bunch of, like, just felt like looking at like I don't even know what it looked like. It was just nuts. It was just everything was everywhere, and I couldn't even put the pieces together. Where with the second half, I managed to put a little bit of pieces together to create some kind of, I guess, result.
How long do you have between stage 1 and stage 2 when you?
So usually, depending on the stage 1 score, so the better you shoot in stage 1, the longer you have till stage 2. So you're usually in the last relay. If the highest score puts you in the last relay, and then so on, so on. I'm pretty sure I was dead last after the first stage, so I was put in the first relay for the second stage, and then just went from there.
Which, I mean, it's amazing to kind of hear that honesty about sort of, you're crying, you're doing all this sort of stuff in between hand, because it's sort of, that's the stuff we don't see, and that's kind of, to kind of hear that honesty. I mean, is there any point of you at that point that doesn't want to go out for that stage 2? That you've shot that first bit, and then you've just gone like, you're so emotional, and like maybe there is a feeling that, well, why would I go out again?
Yeah, I think I don't remember whether I had that kind of feeling, which I think for me means that I didn't have that feeling, because I did what I did in the first half, and I'm not just going to give up on that. That's definitely not something, that legacy that I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind at least something that, I came and I did the second half, and it was something that I could have at least repaired from the first half. I could not do that to myself, basically. So I don't remember having those thoughts. I probably had it for about a split second, but then I think, knowing me and knowing my personality, my energy, and who I'm about, I wouldn't have let myself do that.
The 290 that you then shoot in that second one to end it with, and you sort of touched on how that made you feel in that bit, but I mean, what was it like that night? Sort of, I mean, you'd gone through a very emotional day, of course, obviously not the final the next day, but was you at least able to take some solace in that second stage, that you were able to sort of, as you were saying, sort of leave with, a bit of a better score and something towards what you're maybe more capable of compared to that first one?
Yeah, the fact that I could come out and, produce a 290, which is somewhat respectable. You tell anyone, in my event that, oh yeah, got a 290 first half, you'd be like, okay, yeah, you can still turn that into something good, and you can make yourself make something better out of it. To do that on the biggest stage in the world, given where I'm from in the sport of shooting, like in Australia and everything like that, it's gave me, I don't want to say hope, but also gave me a bit of like, realistically, I can do this. Like, I know I can do this. Leading into Paris, I know I had that, but then didn't prove it in the first half. And I think that's why I wanted to prove it in the second half, because, yeah, if I then came in and did a 290 in the second half, then I walked away thinking, yeah, this is actually a reality that I can do, and I can keep doing this. My sport, my commitment, my training doesn't reflect my first half. It can definitely reflect my second half if I choose it to.
Was there any aspect of it? I mean, back to Tokyo, no crowds. There were no family. There was, it was dead quiet because of obviously COVID. This time around, you've got a crowd. There's a lot more things. Do you feel anything about what you were talking about in that first stage came down to that level that you're seeing a lot more expectation around you physically compared to, people watching because you're in an empty stadium back in Tokyo?
Yeah, I definitely saw the crowd, and I definitely acknowledged that they were there, but I didn't. I'd be lying if I said that they played a factor in it, if that makes sense. Well, I feel like they wouldn't have, though, because I've shot with crowds like that before. I've shot with crowds that aren't there, and I've shot with crowds in Australia of, thousands of people, like at the Commonwealth Games, for example. And then, you go to nationals, and the nationals crowd was bigger than the Tokyo crowd. And so I think in shooting, you just have to accept that they're there, and then that's it. I don't think I'd be a professional if I let the crowd affect me in that way.
Like on this show, if one day we get listeners, maybe
Mm.
I'll feel a bit nervous about what I say on this show. So that's why I can be just so free balling and ask shit questions. And then one day, fuck, we've got listeners. I better be professional right now. So I definitely relate to how you're feeling there. All jokes aside, so based on what you were saying about, that feeling about saying what you're capable of, showing that
Mm.
290. I mean, it's been 8 months, 9 months now since the Olympics, and I usually hate asking this question to an Olympian so soon after an Olympic Games. But does it at least then give you a bit of a thought process? LA 28, Brisbane, this is still something now that you're not done with. You are still wanting to go
Yeah.
out there and show what you're capable of on the biggest stage of all.
Yeah, look, it's actually really interesting. I haven't connected the two in my head, but you know, Brisbane 32 and LA 2028 are still on the cards potentially, um, not from a personally point of view, but from a actual sport point of view. So my event, bit of exclusive, but my event potentially may not be in the 2028 program or 2032 program. So it's still for me, I'm not connecting it to Paris and being like, yep, I'm retiring or anything like that. But for me, I've moved on from Paris. It's been, like you said, 8, 9 months, whatever it is. It is still giving me the itch to go to 2028, but it's in what kind of aspect, whether I'll be there for a different event, whether I will, still be training for the 2032 because I've picked up a whole new event. I'm not too sure. So it's very interesting. My event, Rapid Fire, hopefully it's in there, and then we can keep training for 2028. But if it's not, then I have to, reflect and see what's out there and what I can do.
I was gonna what can you transition? Because this isn't like judo or taekwondo where you maybe your weight division goes and you got to put on a loosen weight. I mean, this is a completely
Exactly,
different thing.
yeah.
Are you just gonna all of a sudden pick up skeet, trap? What happens?
Yeah, so I think it's basically just to either pick up an air pistol, or they may, the women's sport pistol event, they may make that a men's event as well, which is still the 22 caliber pistol, which I'm still quite good at, and just learning other aspects of a different event, and just trying to transition into that.
But how tricky is that, Sergey? Because I mean, again, it's not a weight. You're not putting on. This is a different gun. This is a different discipline. I mean, I can't imagine it's as easy for other athletes in other sports who can maybe just easily transition to something slightly different.
It definitely wouldn't be as easy to transition into an event and to be on the same level I was for rapid fire. But in saying that, sport pistol, if it is sport pistol, which is now still a women's event, if they make an amendment now. It's something that I've had experience in as a junior. So in our sport, all the juniors shoot it. And I, brought back junior World Cup medals from it in the past. I've competed on a decent level at it on a junior level as well. So I definitely know the fundamentals of it. I just never really trained it post my junior career because I transitioned into rapid fire. But now, who knows? I could transition back into sport pistol.
It's a deep question you might not be able to answer, but why? Why is it maybe not on the cards for 2028 and 2032?
I think there's just a bit of politics involved with the actual event as well. It's an event where one shooter shoots at 5 targets, so that means you have to have 5 targets minimum per shooter, where other events are 1 target.
Right.
So from a bit of a cost-effective point of view, if you build a whole range, that's, let's say, 40 targets. That's 40 shooters at a time for one event, but it's only 8 shooters at a time for my event.
Right.
So it's a bit of a cost-effective type thing. So even though I personally think it's one of the most exciting finals in shooting, it's like hit, miss, everything like that. But I'll let the fate of the sport decide what's going to happen.
We have a new president now, of course, of the IOC, Miss Kirsty Coventry, our first ever female president. So I mean, I don't know if you've bumped shoulders with her. Maybe I don't know if she's a shooting fan or not. We can try and find out.
Not sure, but I did see the president of the International Shooting Sports Federation post some photos with her and say congratulations and stuff. So hopefully the shooting sports are putting in a good word to her. So we'll see how we go.
And our own Jess Fox is making her way up the ranks of the IOC. So maybe, by Brisbane, she's getting close enough up there that she can be in the ears of Kirsty. I don't know. Just saying, if you bumped shoulders with Jess in the village before, you might be able to put an ear in with Jess,
Yeah, well, I'm actually somewhat friends with her. So she was a bridesmaid for a close shooting friend. So we met through there. We've met multiple times. We hung out tiniest little bit in Paris. Like we caught up eventually. And when she first saw me, she's like, "Hey, can I get some Powerade?" We chatted and everything. She's lovely. We've texted, not texted, Instagram messaged a couple of times, but that's about it. But she's great. She's such a wonderful person. And so I'm very excited and insane how her career's gone as well.
I don't want to preempt our Powerade section of this interview, but when you got Jess Fox asking for Powerade, you've gone viral. Like, I mean, that's
exactly.
Wow. Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry. I mean, I'm learning so much about shooting recently. We had Josh Bell on recently, and he was sort of telling us about how climate change is affecting the sport when it comes to the type of bullets that are being used in his discipline of skeet. Like, I mean, it's fascinating, and sort of shooting's one of these ones that when you're talking about like changing events and bringing new ones in and that, like I always assume shooting is just your standard events and that's not going to be changed. So we learned so much on this podcast, Serge, about, different disciplines and things like that. Does climate change affect your event, or are you good on the bullets?
Not gonna lie, I'm probably not that deep into it. Like I haven't really paid attention to the climate change with shooting. I just pick up a gun and grab some bullets and shoot at a target and have some fun.
Now we're talking viral now. Powerade not as viral as Turkish shooters though. I mean, hand in the pocket, chilling that way. How is that for your sport? I mean, you were milking that up. I loved all the social media stuff you were posting on that. But I mean, I don't think I've seen shooting had that much attention at Olympic Games ever. All thanks to a Turkish guy winning silver medals.
I love it. I thought it was so good. There was a couple of people, I think, like people more old school in the sport, they were like saying, but everyone, some people do it. Why has it gone viral? Why has it done this? Why has it done this? And like, who cares? Like, it's gone viral for the sport. It brought eyes to the sport, way more eyes compared to Tokyo. And just take it as a grain of salt. I know recently there's a spy movie with Eddie Redmayne. I think it's a TV show or a spy movie. I'm not too sure. And they did a promo for that. Like, it's use of Zikic, like going to a bathroom, taking off his hair, taking off his mask, and then it's the assassin in that movie. And it's like such a cool and funny promo to do. And I'll take all the attention I can get with sport and with shooting, especially. If we can get more people onto it, then that's amazing in my eyes. I mean, the Korean girl that got really famous as well with how she was. I think she got. I think I read an article. She asked to be in like an Korean action movie afterwards. I'm not sure if it was an
Fantastic.
extra or as a part of it. I'm not sure, but
Wow.
love that. That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. And we saw so many athletes like doing the pose, didn't we, afterwards? Like it just,
Yep.
I mean, outside of Ray
Yeah.
Gun, you got to say Yusuf probably had the most virality out of different poses and things like that. Do you know Yusuf? Did you get to bump shoulders with him at all?
Yeah, we always say hi to each other. His English isn't as good to the point where we can have like a proper in-depth conversation, but we always do the hi, how you going? You know, we always give each other a nod and say hello, shake hands. And he's from everything that I've met with him and know him, he's a very nice man, and he's very respectable. And he's been in the shooting world for a very, very long time. So yeah, if anyone deserves all this praise and attention, it's him, because he's a great athlete.
Fantastic. We love seeing it. We also love hearing about everything outside of the competition, of course. And again, getting to Powerade, don't worry. I got to touch on the muffin. I love your video trying the muffin. So, two-part question. Muffin, rate it for us. And we've heard that the tiramisu might have been better than the muffin, but no one's talking about it. So I don't know if you want to weigh in on that debate at all.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. I probably just jumped on the trend train when it came to the muffin. I had it, and I may have been acting a little bit in the video. To be honest, I didn't think the muffin was that great.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
I thought it was way too sweet, way too rich for me. The fact that that guy was having 3, 4 muffins a day or whatever it was is nuts to me. I ate a like, you know, what I had in the video was all I could eat, and I'm wiping my face and couldn't finish it because it was a lot. I would need like some milk or something to wash it down with, because it was just
Too rich.
way too sweet and way too rich.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try the tiramisu though? Do you have an opinion on that?
No, I'm not really a dessert guy. Like,
Okay.
I'll grab a second slice of pizza if I can.
All the
instead of
pies.
dessert,
How many
you know?
4 and 20s did you eat there? Like, did you just go out of all the 4 and 20s?
To be honest, I probably skipped on the pies as well. Like
wow.
when it comes to competition mode, I'm so bland. You know, I just like to, in the mornings, I'll have a piece of rye bread with like 2 boiled eggs. That'd be my breakfast, and maybe some veggies. You know, I try to just be as basic as possible, because then I feel better. My stomach feels good. I feel good, and you know, there's no other excuse to having a bad performance. You know, if I had a bad performance because my stomach felt funny, then that's my fault purely. You know, so yeah, that's why I like to stick to like just a good diet whilst competing, and I kind of avoided the tiramisus and everything like that.
Which I'm preempting one of our final 10 questions. I'll ask it to you now. But did you have after that competition, when you were done, did you just go back to the village and load up on just what was the cheat meal basically that you were like, I'm done. Give me all the Powerade, the pies, whatever you were going to eat.
Yeah, the village can produce some delicious meals, and the fact that it's open 24/7 is you can, you know, go out for a nice dinner in the city and, you know, do what you can, come back at midnight, and then go eat pasta, pizza, dumplings, spring rolls, whatever it was. You know, it was so good. I think for me, and I think one of the most popular ones, probably, like, they have like a Asian section, which was like Asian food, so noodles, dumplings, spring rolls, all that stuff. That was very, very good. I think I kind of stuck to that side of things more.
Okay.
And then yeah, because it's more fried, a bit more oily. So, you know, after competition, I can eat more of that stuff.
Which I know there was a lot of talk before the Olympics about sort of the health quality of what they were trying to do in the village. And I think they said that they were going to avoid having fries in the village. This was the thing that the athletes were annoyed with. Did they end up having fries in the village? Do you remember?
Now that you say that, I don't think they did. They could have.
Okay.
But that would have been something that I probably wouldn't have put on my plate, maybe. I'm not too sure. No, I think you're right. I don't think that was there. To be honest, I think now I'm remembering all this food stuff, and like the village food is nice. It's good. And the fact that it's 24/7 and it's everything there, but it's not, you know, it's not restaurant level quality food. You know, they don't take each meal and focus it on that and give it the attention it deserves. It's just, you're at a buffet, basically. That's the quality level you're going to get.
I mean, your social media was just one of the best ones to watch during the Olympics, because you just looked like you're having an absolute blast there in the village. Before, again, we get to the Powerade stuff, I mean, outside of the food, did you do anything differently this time around when it came to soaking up that Olympic experience? Things like pin trading, uniform trading, where you're spotting, I don't know, LeBron James in the lining up for a spring roll or something like that? Like, kind of like, what was it like this time around?
Yeah. I think for me, I would just, you know, felt very happy and I guess privileged to, be in the village this time because with Tokyo, obviously we're in the village, but it was fly in, fly out, weren't able to soak it up or anything. Where this time I, decided to stay till the closing ceremony and experience the closing ceremony and be in the village the rest of the time because shooting as well, it was a satellite. So it was
Mm.
300 kilometers away from
Bit away, Chateauroux, right?
the Olympic Village. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
in Chateauroux. So we had our own kind of little village. We had our own little hotel and everything like that, which was still great. The Australian Olympic team um, really make you feel at home and welcome there. They had they have kangaroos set up, they have koalas set up, they have flags, Australian like Oz Olympic team banners that I managed to steal afterwards, which was awesome. And then,
Don't tell them that.
we
We'll edit
had
that out. I never heard that. What are you talking about?
exactly, yeah, exactly. We had people bring coffee machines, and the shooting team was able to organize foods that we have here, like tunas, rices, popcorns, everything. It was really, really good. So um, that was amazing. And then going into the village afterwards, and I just wanted to soak everything in the village, experience that. I barely stayed in my room. I just went out, met some friends, rode bikes around the village, tried to experience the city as much as I could. When I think our first day of arrival went to a basketball game. I think it was the um, women's Germany versus France, I believe.
Great.
And that was a game that went off, and we're able
Yeah.
to get like athlete tickets, so we were right there, and just experiencing the city, experiencing everything is what I really wanted to do. Got into pin trading a little bit, but when you get to the village on the back end of it, I was just a bit. Everyone's already traded pins, it wasn't as
Did
good.
you get
And,
many? Did you get many? Because I keep complaining that in the media department we got like 10 pins and I kept 5 of them. So they were gone within a day. So I don't know, as an athlete, you were getting more pins than we were, obviously.
No, we got a fair few. We
Okay.
got a fair few, but I probably wouldn't say more than you. I don't think. A lot of people organise their own pins sometimes. I think
Yeah.
they bring in their own like little pins they can get from like some kind of market here in Melbourne or something. That's from like a
I think
cheap.
you need to get your own.
store.
Like you get some Sergei
Yeah.
Evglevski pins. You know what I mean? Like that could
No,
work.
I'll probably stick. I'll probably end up having them all. No one will want them anyway by the end of it.
Hey, I
I get some
did come
Powerade
home with a
pins.
lot of off the podium pins. Not many people were in. They weren't in high demand in Paris, so we got rid of a few.
Yeah.
Somebody was selling them on eBay, so clearly they thought they were worth some money. So but do you sort of, when you get the pins, are you sort of on the lanyard type guy? Do you keep them in some sort of like? Are you going to reflect back when you've got grandkids and go, here's my pin collection from all my Olympics?
Yeah, so I do have like a little box. I have like a bunch of pins just from various competitions, stickers and stuff like that. I think when I got back, I popped them on the lanyard, and the lanyard's just hanging in my room. I didn't walk around with the lanyard with a bunch of pins on them because it just gets annoying and it's heavy and you're like, it's not really practical. So if anything, I was just kind of keeping the pins in my bag, and it was more like if someone came up to me and asked if I have a pin, sure, I'll swap it over. But for me, it wasn't a massive thing for me. I don't really want to go hunting for pins when I should be there to be doing a job. But I did bring a lot of like koalas that you can pinch the back
Yep.
of, and I was giving them out to like volunteers and stuff because I know they get a kick out of that, and I kind of wanted to, give that to those kinds of people as well.
You also needed to save space in the bag for the Powerade.
Yes.
Now I did watch the original video where you got very excited over it, and you've become a bit known for this. Serge, give us a taste of what happened here, and of the 9,000 that you came home with, how many are we up to now? How many left have you got?
So that was the start of something pretty crazy. So and that literally started from people that would know me. Like I was just stealing handful day by day, just taking it, kind of like as a joke. And I was like, oh, this would be a funny little souvenirs for people, taking back home. Power could be expensive, just bring
Yeah.
it back. Why not? And I was just like laying on my bed, just laying there, and I could see in front of me is my suitcase, and I see all the Powerade. And the video that I took, I didn't like make the bag look fuller or anything. Like that's how it was. And I'm just looking there thinking, holy crap, I actually have taken so many Powerade sachets. Like this is pretty funny. Let's do a video. So I was just laying on my bed shirtless. I put a shirt on, quickly did my hair. I'm like, yeah, all right, look good. Like, grabbed my phone, did the video. Took me 2 minutes to edit, uploaded it. And then I think after that is when I I think later that night, I put my phone away for the competition leading up to it. I think I just deleted my social media apps and still kept it for like WhatsApp with family and everything like that, and music and stuff like that. But then didn't realize how much it blown up until a few days after, and then after my event and everything, and then I saw that, and then I'm just like, wow, wild. Powerade commenting on it. Powerade like reached out to me, and they were laughing and everything, and getting all the attention I could. And then I saw like, a bunch of TikTokers making like recap videos of the Olympics. And then I saw a couple where it's like the Australian team steals a bunch of Powerade. And I'm like, hey, that's me. So that was pretty wild. And then, so I took a bunch home. 9,000, I probably can say it may have been an exaggeration, but I definitely still have, those sachets are pretty small, like yay big. I probably still have like a whole tote bag full to the brim and then half a tote bag left. So
Wow.
still a lot. Still definitely
Because you're getting lots of bags. If you shared that video of the kit, and anybody knows how much kit you get when you're on the Australian team, you get about like 6 bags, don't we? So like, I mean, you've got bags you can bring them home with. So that's, you literally have on the original video, you've put, everyone like this comment if they think Powerade should send me a lifetime supply, which that gets 163 likes alone. And then recently, you've even been doing videos where you're going around to fellow Olympian and Paralympians' houses delivering Powerade, kind of having the chat with Serge. Let's have a bit of you're taking over my job here. Like, I mean, this is really like getting out there. Sorry, 4 and 20. You didn't do this good enough. Powerade is winning this battle.
Exactly right. I think 4 and 20 needed to step up a little bit because all they sent me was just a $30 voucher to go buy myself a pie.
Oh, come on, 4 and 20. Pathetic. Come on.
I know.
Wow.
Where Powerade is sending them to me by the cases. They sent me an esky, they sent me a bag, they sent me cases and cases of Powerade. They send me a lot of supply. So
I'm making this clip go viral right now. 4 and 20 versus Powerade right now. 4 and 20 up your game because you're losing right now to Powerade. I never thought that's a battle we'd ever declare on this show, but we're doing it right now. 420 versus Powerade. Powerade easily winning.
Exactly right. They're up there.
Yeah.
4 and 20. I think they're in the past. I think I have to, move on and find potentially another pastry company. I'm not too sure, but we'll have to see what we can do. I know.
Firing words out there, 4 and 20. But I mean, it must be fun.
The door's always open.
The door's always open. Absolutely. And 4 and 20. If you this is hard for you to hear. I hear there's an Olympic podcast, 2-time award-winning podcast right now that would gladly be sponsored by you. So if you contact us, we might be able to reach out to them. But I mean, I know we've talked in the past about sort of, having fun on your social media and kind of doing this sort of stuff. I mean, it ticks a lot of boxes, right? You're having fun. You're getting free Powerade. People have got eyes on shooting. I mean, it's all sort of in good fun, basically, that you can use these tools that we have now to sort of expand many things across the way.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think for me, from a mental side of things, like I'm very much like, it's done, it's happened, you have to move on. And I funnily enough can move on from things depending on the level of it quite quickly. Paris in my eyes is always going to be something that I'll look back on with utmost, enjoyment and pride with what I did, but then also disappointment in the sense of, that's how I behaved, that's how I acted. When I'm given a chance next time, I'm not going to do that, So afterwards, I kind of just, what are you going to do? I'm not going to be in my room sulking and crying for a week straight, because in the end, the world keeps spinning. You're at the Olympic Village, like make the most out of it. And that's, what I did. And I had fun with it. I filmed what I filmed, had fun with it. And, had Powerade comment. I had rappers comment on my videos. The guy that I don't know if you're aware, Baby No Money. He's the singer of one of the songs of my videos that got 300,000 views, and he commented saying, "Hey, nice song," and that's his song. So that was pretty wild, and I was a big fan of him. So yeah, you just got to enjoy. You got to enjoy and take in what you can get from what you have.
Speaking of songs, can we also not talk about the elephant in the room that you are the subject of a song? Sergei, Frederick's son, 25 meters. How does this happen? How do you get a rap song about you? Because this is incredible.
Yes, yeah. So it's actually a lot simpler than it sounds. So me and Frederick's son went to school together. He's a very close friend of mine. He incredibly talented artist. He incredibly intelligent guy as well. He started off in a band called Fourth Place, and he was making all the producing, making all the beats, making all the actual, the music behind. And, he's one of his best friends, B Shaw, his name is, he was rapping on the songs. And then Frederick's son, his name's Luke. He thought, you know what, I need to start making my own music and start paving my own path as well. And he did that and dedicated the song to me. And it was, I actually came over to his place. I was training in the city and I came over to his place in Richmond. And he's like, I have something to show you. Like, come over. He played the song. I'm just sitting there on the couch. I'm like, this is wild. He's calling out our area, like where we're from, in the southeast suburbs of Melbourne. We grew up together a little bit, and then he mentions me. Yeah, and the song was wild. I just think the fact that he can rhyme my name
Yeah.
is Sergei Evglevski. And yeah, it talks about shooting, it talks about everything, and he's such a close friend of mine. And the fact that he did that, I teared up when he played that song out loud for me, and it was just such a touching thing to do. And it was wild. And I can say with confidence that I'm the only Olympic shooter out there that has a rap song dedicated to them and made about them.
Well, I was actually going to say, of the 459 athletes that Australia sent to Paris, I almost say you're the only one who hasn't a rap song about them. I mean, I don't even think Jess Fox.
Exactly.
I don't even think Emma McKeon has one. Kaylee McEwen. I don't think they have one. Ariane Timmer. I've never heard a rap song about them. So just saying, you're number one.
They have medals, yeah, sure. But do you have a rap song?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
We've seen how crap those medals are. They're falling to bits. That rap song's forever, right? That's not
exactly
falling
right.
to bits. So you win the Olympic. You win the Australian Olympics. Just saying. So that's how I look at it. Do you use it as a pump up? Is it like a pump up song that you're getting out there in the range and there you are?
It actually was because that's the type of music that I enjoy listening to, and then I actually really admire him as an artist. I think he's very good, and the fact that he made that song and like the way he made the song and everything was just wild. And I use it as a pump up song. It gives me goosebumps every time. Like the fact that there's a song about me is just, I mean, not in an egotistical way or anything, but I just find it wild that I'm in a position like that. So I do use it as a pump up song. I don't want to brush it off because it's awesome. Like who can say they have a song about them like that? So yeah, I listen to it all the time.
Could have been worse. Could have been Kendrick Lamar saying some certain things about you in a song. So,
it could have been. It could have been.
Is he busy in July? Maybe get him to the wedding to kind of, hype you up down the aisle?
He is. Of course, he was invited to the wedding, but unfortunately, he is actually already out of the country, unfortunately, for work. But I know. We actually, me and my partner thought we could get him to MC the wedding. Eventually. Yeah.
That would have been fun. Jeez. All right. Now, I was literally about to say next wedding, but that's something you don't want to have a next one with, so just ignore that.
Probably not.
Probably. The renewal of your vows. That is what I meant by that comment, of course.
Exactly.
The romantic renewal of those vows. We're going to get to a new segment in just a moment, the OTP 10, which you've already answered one of those, so we'll get to that in a moment. But competition-wise for you, obviously, big year, wedding, everything along those lines. But, I mean, we're looking from a competition aspect for you. What's on the agenda for you in 2025 and just, I guess, in the short term?
Yeah, so definitely have a couple of domestic competitions happening at the moment. We have our nationals in May, which I'm gearing up for because nationals are one of my favorite competitions of the year. The community gets together. It's such a beautiful community that we have in shooting. I love being a part of it. It's the reason why I stay in the sport. So the fact that I can come to the nationals, compete in my competition. I love to stay out there the whole day, watch some of the juniors compete, watch other events. Then afterwards, sit in the club room, have a chat, have a yarn, and give out some trophies and medals and everything at the end of the day. And it's just such a great atmosphere. It's less pressure as well, which is what I love about it. I kind of go there to enjoy life. Obviously, take the national seriously because I do want to come away with the national title, of course. But and I still got to keep my national records up as well. So, but the fact that I can go there and just enjoy myself is amazing. So I got the nationals coming up this year. Potentially the world champs later this year in Egypt in October or November, sorry. But again, that's I think this year for me, in all honesty, is more of a let's reprioritize certain things, because sport in life is amazing, and to get onto the highest level is incredible. But it does also come a lot of sacrifice and a lot of putting other aspects on hold. You kind of put 90% of your life on hold to focus on this one bit for 4 years, and it's tough sometimes because it can affect other people. It is tough. So I think this year especially is the year for me to have a break, really figure out what I want to do in life, and to focus on myself, focus on my family, focus on my partners, and focus on my future outside of shooting as well. And that's definitely not saying that I'm going to forget about shooting, because it's definitely not. The reason I'm in this sport is because my life was built around this sport. So definitely not going to give up on it. But I just want to, reprioritize a few things this year.
Good words. I like that. And when you're getting married, I mean, that's a pretty big step, right? Like,
Yeah, like I want little Sergeys running around in the future. I want little Powerade boys running around. I want the kids, and I want the marriage. I want everything like that. And you gotta take a few steps back from sport, and then take those steps forward again later in the future, and go from there.
Little Sergei's running. I'm just seeing like a Sergei Kardashian style reality show going on there. You and the missus
that
and the
would
kids.
be a show. They'll get cancelled after one episode. No one will watch that. A bunch of hairy, fatty little kids running around.
Mate, if people watch the Kardashians, I don't really think there's much taste out there, right? Married at First Sight's still like the number one show in this country, right? So, I mean, I don't really think there's a lot of taste going out there when it comes to it. So I think you're fine. I think you're good. Proudly sponsored by Powerade, of course.
That'd be wild.
When it goes out there. As I said, we've got a new set of questions that we close out with. A standardized set, the OTP 10. You've answered one of these, so we can skip over that one. So you've technically got the OTP 9 right now. So I'm going to start off with, what is the one thing you never leave home without when traveling to a competition? And you're not allowed to say a gun, because that's the obvious one.
On that, actually, the amount of memes I've seen of like people go to the airport, it's like, oh shit, did I bring a gun? Where for me, it's like, oh shit, did I bring my guns? One thing I take, that is a tough one. I'm going to say diary. I'm going to say journal, diary,
Pen and paper diary, like we're talking old school, like
good. Old school.
Right.
Old school.
Good. I like that.
I'm going to say that because shooting, the sport that it is, very mental. You do have to let your emotions out, when and it's what better way to do it than on pen and paper. So yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm also going to say a ball, if I can say two.
Okay.
Like a high bounce ball, because I just like, if you can get a four-square competition going, why not?
I mean, that's something Brisbane 2032 should be pushing that for the sports pro. Now that they've delayed it by a year. Should. I mean, I'm just, what I'm thinking, right? Kevin Rudd, right? We're going old school here, but we knew him as the handball prime minister, right? He would challenge kids to foursquare. And we're talking, people who don't know what we're talking about, Australian handball, foursquare handball, not European handball. But I think that Ruddy's a proud Queenslander. Get him on the committee and then push for foursquare at the 2032 Olympics. And then there's your in for staying at the Olympics for outside of shooting.
I think 100%. I think we need to get that going. Even if he could be like the team ambassador or like team coach even. Like, why not?
And I honestly think that I'd give myself a chance of becoming an Olympian then. I mean, I'll only be 45 by then, but still, hey, why not?
I mean, everyone always says this, but like, no offense to Raygun, but if they can put breakdancing in the Olympics, they can put foursquare in the Olympics. I don't see why not.
100%, right? Like that I'm with you there. I'm with you there. What's a traditional superstition you follow before every big competition?
Traditional superstition I follow before every competition. I'm going to say basic, bland breakfast.
Okay.
Very simple. Just, I don't know if that is a superstition or not, but it's something for me that I need to have. I need to have something basic and get access to that. I think that's a big one for me.
It counts. I think that's an open-ended one that you can easily have. So no, we'll take that. You sort of touched on this, but I mean, it might be something different. What's a song that is on every one of your pre-competition playlists, no matter what?
25 Meter by Fredrickson.
Has to be right there.
Of course.
It should be on everyone's playlist, let's be honest, right now.
It has to be.
After this episode, people are going to hear it and they're going to go for it. Easy. What is the most unexpected or funny DM you have ever gotten as an Olympian?
Oh, unexpected. Oh, it's probably the Powerade one. The fact that they reached out, and it wasn't just Powerade Australia. It was like the main head honcho of
like
Powerade.
Atlanta Coke Powerade, basically. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do they say?
They reached out.
Dear Mr. Evglevski,
they're just like, hey, Sergei, we love everything you've done for us, and we love all this, everything that you're doing. We love your energy. You know, we want to reach out, and you know, the rest is history. Let's just say that because
Wow.
yeah, the fact that I've got Powerade in my DMs is it's pretty wild.
That's epic. That's epic. I actually did a side note because we're discovering this on some other Olympians on the show when I've asked this question. You ever got the sugar mama message you on Instagram, you know, giving you a DM? No sugar
No.
mamas, sugar daddies,
What's
know
the
what it is?
no? Oh,
Right?
I thought like the Sugar Mama. Like there's an account called Sugar
No,
Mama.
no.
No,
We're discovering a lot of
no,
Olympians get the sugar mummies and the sugar daddies asking for certain things. So I just don't know
really?
if this
Wow.
is the thirst trap of the Olympians out there. So,
No, I feel left out now. I feel like
oh,
I kind of wish I had that.
come on,
But
sugar
no,
mummies and
unfortunately not.
daddies. He's a good looking rooster, you know. Get out
If you guys want
there.
you guys want electrolytes, then why not message me?
I mean, that's what we all want in life. Just a bit of
Yeah.
electrolyte, right? That's all we're hoping for. What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten at an international competition, and did you like it?
Weirdest thing I've ever eaten. I am a massive foodie. I eat a lot of foods. I love a lot of foods. I'm the opposite of a texture eater. You know, the weirder the texture, the better for
Okay.
me. I love that. I love spicy foods. I love non-spicy. I love everything. So I would say the weirdest food I've had, which to be fair, for some countries it is traditional, but I think like a herring jellyfish type thing. I think you can
Okay.
get it in like Germany and Eastern Europe where it's like jelly, but then in the jelly is like herring, carrots, cabbage, and everything.
Right.
Yes, it's something that I've eaten. I'm not going to eat on an everyday basis, but it's not bad. I'll take it. But
Okay.
I think if you give that to a lot of people in Australia, they would definitely get grossed out by it.
This is why I love
So I would say,
yeah, it was
mm,
interesting when you get someone like from your sport or like, you know, we had Jaden Lawrence on from wrestling famously talked about horse milk. Like these sports where you're going to some of these more obscure countries
mm,
that maybe some people don't often go to. Not saying Germany's obscure, but you know what I mean. Like you're going to
yeah,
Azerbaijan, you know, places like this, which a lot of people don't. So interesting. I love these
yeah.
questions. They open it up, right?
Oh, even then, like I think, like you know, I've had foods I wouldn't even classify as weird, but like I've had horse heart before,
Okay.
like in food, yeah, like in
Common
like
answer,
a
horse, in this question. Horse is that one that a lot of people
yeah.
have tried. I feel like I need to try horse all of a sudden. You know,
Oh, delicious.
go down to
Yeah, why
Woolies.
not?
Got any horse?
Yeah,
Fresh out. Try Coles. I don't know.
yeah.
We already we had the question you've basically answered. What's your ultimate guilty pleasure meal after a big competition? We've touched on that, so we can move over to if you could swap sports for a day with another Olympian, what event would you choose, and how do you think you'd go?
Hmm. I would say I would go table tennis,
Yes.
and I mean, all respect to those guys. Like they are insane at their sport. So I
Yeah.
know I'll get knocked out in the first rounds, but it's a sport that I love. Like I love playing table tennis. I eventually need to get a table tennis table in my new place. My partner will not allow me to get one, but you know if she doesn't know, it won't hurt her. So
She won't
yeah,
listen to
I'm
this. No one
definitely gonna
does.
get one.
I like that. I got to see table tennis in Paris, and I got to say it's a blast. And I mean, I'd seen it
Yeah,
back in the Commonwealth Games in 2018, but this is, you know, I'm seeing China play, I'm seeing Japan, I'm seeing the best of the best play this sport, and it's
yeah,
just the atmosphere as well at that table tennis arena was second to none. It was just
yeah.
beyond amazing. So I could see that table tennis, you know, going. That's great sport, great sport. More people need to play it. If your Olympic journey were a movie, what would the title be, and who would play you?
Well, what will the title be?
So many shooting
My Olympic
puns.
journey was it's gotta be something like that. Like just I reckon it would just be something simple like 25-meter, the story of the electrolyte man or something like that. Something so stupid. And then who would play me? I'd say probably Jonah Hill, but in his, you know, super bad when
Yep,
he's lost a bit of weight phase.
I
Probably
see
not the
it.
skinny Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a good
So
one. I like that.
yeah.
Oh, see,
I think when it's in like a 21 jump street combo, I always get put in the Jonah Hill column, not in the Channing Tatum column, unfortunately. So
hey, look, we all could hope one day. You know,
exactly.
I'd take the Seth Rogen, you know, page.
Although have been compared, and maybe you can get this up on the screen, but the actress who plays the daughter in the movie Quiet Place with John Krasinski.
Okay.
The deaf girl in that movie, I could get compared to her a lot, and I've made a TikTok video about it years ago.
That is so random, but
Because
now I feel we
the
need to
amount
like.
of times, the amount of times I've been told I look like her is insane.
That's hilarious. That is like so random. I have never seen it, so I can't off the top of my head. But right now we're visualizing it, and we're going to do that, and we're going to make that a thing, and people can. Wow, that's I'm liking it. The only person I ever got compared to is when I was fatting on radio. I was Carl Sandlands, so you know.
Oh no.
Probably not the best one to get, but anyway. What is the one question? This is I'm scared as somebody asking these questions for a living. But what is the one question you're tired of being asked, and what is the one you wish people would ask you instead?
Ooh, the one question I get asked, or I get told. Actually, I'm going to change the statement.
Okay.
And when I tell people, I do shooting as a sport, they always say, "Oh, don't want to get on your bad side, then, hey." And I'm like, good one. Yeah, you're not the first one to say that. But what I wish they would ask me instead is probably, how could I get into that sport? I think that's a good one. A lot of people ask me how I got into it, which is great. I love explaining how I got into it, but not enough people are interested in the sport. So I would love to get more people involved.
Good one. You're doing, if I'm not mistaken, a 10-week program, are you not, right now, where people can sort of, if they want to get into shooting, give that a
So
plug.
I think, through Repletic, they've kind of given me a task to come up with a 10-week program. It is more for the gym and the physical side of things. So if people are already involved in the sport and they want to see what my gym program and kind of fitness program looks like to get to the best possible, general fitness routine for shooting prior, that's what that is. So we want to grow that program and grow into more shooting aspects. But look, I've actually been doing a bit of coaching on the side now. I've got some accreditations for that, and I recently actually did a little 3-day weekend in Perth for about 20 to 30 shooters there, where I kind of ran a coaching program, and a lot of people seem to be happy and thankful that I was able to get out there and give them a bit of what I do in my day to day, getting ready for the Olympics. So
Fantastic.
yeah, maybe I can get into coaching soon.
Hey, that works. On a complete side note, I've literally Googled A Quiet Place daughter, and I see it.
I see it too. It's actually wild.
Millicent Simmons is the actress's name. If people are, when you say like the daughter of something, like, no, I don't really. How is that going to work? But no, I see it. I see. Put a beard on her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's who discovers that? Who's watching A Quiet Place? Sergei, I'm just watching A Quiet Place. You'll never believe who looks like you.
And the amount of times I've had people say like, "Oh, I mention it," and they're like, "No way," and they start cracking up laughing because they get flashbacks to that scene and they flashbacks to that person, that actress, and they see it.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Actually, the other year we covered the Pan Am Games on this show, and there was a Canadian, was he a squash player, I think, that they said resembled me. And it was one of those ones where, again, you're like, oh, come on. And you look at it, and even you've got to be like, yeah, okay, that looks a bit like me.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. I'm very impressed with that.
It's scary. And it's kind of annoying that it's like she's like 12 or 13 in the movie, and it's like, oh, you look like that actress, and that's 13 years old, and it's like, oh well,
I was gonna say,
surely it could have been someone better.
Collaboration going on there, maybe, but let her get a bit older. Little Sergeys can run around with her potentially.
Exactly.
Last one for you. This is the deep, hard-hitting one to close this out in. What is the one lesson you have learnt from losing that you think has shaped you more than winning?
I think the one lesson I've learnt from losing. Oh, that is a tough one. But I'd say for me, it's to just not only take away all the enjoyment that you can out of it, because it's going to seem like there was no enjoyment, but there is going to be something positive in there, and just to take away any learnings you can from it. Because if you're losing and you're not taking away any learnings, then you're losing even more. But if you can take away some learnings and reflect on what you did and, adapt to that and build something from that, then you've got the building blocks sorted for when you start winning.
Perfect. That's why we ended on that question, because it gives a nice little circle moment, and then it's just like deep and hard hitting, and we like that. That's perfect.
Lovely.
Sergei, it's always a pleasure, mate. You're welcome back on the show any single time you like. Best of luck for the wedding this year, everything else that's going your way, and I know when we get you back on, there'll be little Sergeis running around everywhere, popping out Powerade, and you'll be out there, millionaire, the CEO of Powerade by that point, I'd probably think. But best of luck with everything. I'm just putting it out there. Put in the universe. It's got to, you say I start off with a good intro. I've got to start out with a good closing. It will end with a good closing as well, right?
Exactly. It's going to. But no, thank you very much again, Ben, for having me. I appreciate it. I always have so much fun when I'm on the show. And hopefully you can get to, how many episodes are you on now? Like,
this is episode 455 you are on.
455.
455.
Surely 1,000's a goal. Or 500 at least.
Look, we're pumping them out more so than you're getting Powerades at the moment. So when we get our 1,000th spectacular, we'll be having you on and everybody else on. You can be hanging out, and Jess Fox will be ISC president by then. So you'll be able to hook us up. Easy.
Maybe. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me again, Ben. Really appreciate it.